welcome to another crafty video. Today's one's going to be a little bit of a hybrid. I'm going to start off by talking and then the end of the video is going to be sped up showing you sort of the process behind using the products I'm going to show you. So this lovely company called TwoHands, they sell on Amazon, asked if I would like to have a go with their set of 24 liquid acrylic markers, and these are soft headed, which means they have a brush nib on them, which is phenomenal. I don't know how on earth they get a paint pen to kind of work with a brush tip, but they're fantastic because, you know, when you normally buy paint pens, you have to spend a couple of hours unwrapping them all, you know, like pouncing the nozzle down, trying to get the paint to flow freely into the nozzle or into the nib of the pen. Well, because these are brush markers, they're already primed and activated for you, and all you have to do when you're using them is just occasionally give them a shake, so that all of the paint gets mixed up and more of it sort of dispenses down into the brush nib of the pen. So they're really fantastic for using on the go, or for, you know, just generally using in your craft room and things as well. And this is a set of 24, but they do also do a set of 12 as well. And they're really reasonably priced as well. This set of 24 is actually only $12.99, and you have a fantastic selection of colours for $12.99. Plus, they've also given me a discount code, which I'll put up here, and it'll also be in the description below the video, as well as the link they've given me to their product on Amazon as well. And I think it's either 15% or 20% off of that as well. So a fantastic deal for 24 liquid acrylic markers that have a beautiful brush nib on them, and I'll show you those in a second as well. But it tells you everything that you need, like need to know, like shake well before use. They've got high saturation, shows you the little brush here, but also on the back, as well as giving you a swatch of all of the gorgeous colours, there's like a fantastic rainbow selection of colours and some really lovely greens in here as well. But you can actually not just use them for card making and things. You can actually go on to cardboard, ceramic, glass, plastic, metal, wood, and all sorts of other different surfaces, like non-porous surfaces as well. So you could try colouring them onto shrink plastic before you shrink them down, or you could stamp and heat emboss an image onto heat resistant acetate and then colour from the back, or create cool, like maybe not quite so much stained glass ideas, because I think they are going to be more opaque because they are an acrylic paint, but you can do all sorts of different techniques with them. But I was playing with these when I was still at my nan's house, so what I was actually doing with them was just playing and doodling and then scribbling back over the top to do like a scribbly outline. Now this is actually some of the new dies from Creative Expressions in their Paper Cuts Folk Flowers collection, and I absolutely adore these dies. I have got them all, so I'm hopefully going to be doing a video or two creating some cards with them as well. But I'd created this motif on a card for them a little while back, and I was just searching through my phone of you know, things that I could maybe doodle to colour in with these pens, and I came across the card that I'd made, so I just doodled and sort of copying the design. So that's why I'm telling you where I got it from, so you're not thinking that I've plagiarised it, but I just sort of copied the kind of design. Obviously it's not perfect, and then I painted it in with the gorgeous brush tip pens. And then once it was dry, I just came back in with a cheap biro, any biro that I could find, and just scribbled and doodled back in a border to it. And so I wanted to show you this kind of technique, but I know not everybody wants to doodle their own design, or you know, you may not like things that you would draw yourself. So you can actually do this with your stamps too. So we're going to be playing around with a couple of Jane Gill's Woodware stamps to do this with, but I think any sort of stamps in your stash, if they're along more of the doodly, whimsical kind of style that's quite easy to doodle back over the top of, they're going to be perfect for this kind of technique. And here are a couple that I already did ahead of time, just to give you a couple more ideas of how you can use them. And these are using, this is the Petal Doodles Happy Thoughts set from Jane Gill, and I just doodled back over the top. I added all these circles in the centre, I added dots onto the onto the sort of vein portions of the leaves and stuff. I drew little hearts into the petals of the flower as well. And then this one was using the Petal Doodles Live Life as well. And I also thought this little one would work really nicely too, which is the Happy Soul. It will be a really lovely one. I think I have already done a sped up video using this on my channel though, so I thought I'd go with a newer stamp set, and this is one of Jane's Bubble Bird collection. So it's Blooms for Birds Flower Heads, this one's called. And I wanted to try and stamp this gorgeous piece with all these bubbles on, maybe this bit of foliage as well, and try and make my own kind of arrangement on a card, kind of like I've done here, where I've stamped the leaves on and an extra flower, and kind of built my own arrangement. I want to do that kind of thing and show you how to do that. But obviously I need to show you the pens more first. So this is the lovely colour swatch that I've created of all of those different colours that are in here. I tried to put them in kind of like a rainbow order, but you can see there's a fantastic selection. You've got a couple of beautiful yellows, you've got a brighter orange and a sort of more desaturated orange, you've got a gorgeous red, a desaturated red, a couple of different tones of pink moving into purples. You've got quite a few warm and cool tones of purples, which is fantastic. You've got really dark, like Prussian blue kind of blue, ultramarine, teal kind of colours, cornflower sort of blue, pistachio kind of colour, gorgeous forest greens, a sage green, a slightly more yellowy green, and then a lighter yellowy green as well. We've even got brown and black in there too, and right at the top you have a white that does actually show up white on white card as well. But the white is actually fantastic for adding back in like the highlight to an eye, or maybe you've done some alcohol pen colouring and you wanted a highlight left in but you've coloured over it, you know, you can add that back in with your white paint pen, so you can get some fantastic results using those. So oh, I need to show you the actual pen as well. So this is the fantastic nib on the pen. It's a really fine brush, and it's a flexible kind of tip. If I get a scrap of cardstock and then zoom you in closer, you can hopefully see that it's got flexibility to the nib of it as well. So you can press down and create these kind of sort of petal shapes that you can do with sort of any brush tip kind of pen and create like wonky sort of flower shapes, or you can doodle like finer doodles if you don't put as much pressure down, or you can go much thicker brush strokes as well. They also blend into each other really nicely, and this is the sort of carriage system. Sorry, that was out of focus. This is the sort of carriage system of how the ink comes up here. So when you shake them, you can hear there's some kind of ball bearing in there, and this is actually liquid ink, so you can tell what level your ink is at as well. And then you just want to shake them, and it's this kind of area of the pen that dispenses that paint up to the top, so you don't have that sort of you know, having to depress the nib into the pen, which sometimes does blunt your nibs, and obviously with a brush tip you wouldn't want to do that anyway, which is why they have this kind of system to get the paint up to the nib. But they blend really nicely together as well. So if I go with a red and an orange, you can get really gorgeous blends of the colours together, and you know, you can create some really nice colouring sort of techniques, and you can also layer them as well. You can see here when they're both wet they're sort of more blending into each other, but once they actually dry you can build up the layers of colour on top, and they are opaque, so you can kind of see the lighter colours on top of the darker colours, which I think is fantastic. And it's great when you're doing a doodly kind of style, because you can kind of add all of these cute little extra elements back into your colouring as well. And I just think the fact that these are so reasonably priced, and the number of pens that you're getting, it's like less than 50p a pen if you get them with the discount on as well. So I think these are just absolutely fantastic. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. That is going to be a sped up portion of me showing you how to create one of these sort of doodled kind of designs, showing how I stamp the image first, and we're going to build like a bouquet design. I'm going to stamp it in Distress Ink in Lost Shadow, so it's a really light outline that's going to basically disappear under our colouring, and then we'll add our doodled outline back in after afterwards as well. But hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of this video, and thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest.